Hey everybody, welcome back. I am going to take you through another segment of the game. So yeah, let's jump back in. I will get us going here with a little bit more of what we saw last time, continuing on with the head of Mimir. So looking forward to continuing this game. A lot of you have mentioned in the comments that you hope that I will do God of War Ragnarok after this. I fully intend to. I have a not so secret wish that I will get a PlayStation for Christmas so that I can actually play God of War myself. So hopefully that'll happen. And I could even do some like recording of myself as I'm playing the game. So let me know if that's something you think that would be of interest to you. I can sometimes multitask, and I mean, at least I could sort of play through and kind of comment as I go minimally so that you can hear the dialogue, and then finish up with some kind of more extensive commentary where I talk about what I've seen. But let's hop back in. Here we have
even in these mountains. None are left in Midgard who speak it. Except, of course, for me.
You do?
It's true. You wouldn't know it to look at him, but Jörmungandr is a sparkling conversationalist.
We're just running around. There's some runes.
Atreus, follow me.
Be right there.
Here he comes. What do we have? Okay. Shaft of some kind. Mike, you're making me dizzy.
So, Mimir, why did Freya spit in your face?
No. Speak of Baldur. He claims nothing harms him.
Aye, Baldur is blessed with invulnerability to all threats, physical or magical.
You're boasting of a god.
Finally getting
Everyone
that now.
has a weakness.
Not him, I'm afraid. Baldur is blessed with invulnerability to all threats, physical or magical.
Okay.
You just said that, Mimir.
Did I?
Now, some
What
things
is the
that make
source of
sense.
this power?
Some things make
Well,
sense.
as I
now.
recall, it involved, a
Comment
spell?
flags.
Mimir?
Parts of my brain must still be coming back to life. Just need a moment to finish waking up.
Hope he's not broken.
Yeah, I've seen that phrase, like, both on the Gameology video, Lake of Nine, the Gameology video, and then on this channel
Mimir,
as well.
we're on the lake.
Perfect. Dock us near the bridge.
I figured it was an inside joke of some kind, and now I feel like I'm finally in on it.
You want to dock here?
Gilded.
Ed, how do we speak to the serpent?
There's a horn on a platform at the middle point of the bridge. Take me to it.
Finally,
Excited to see
that
this.
horn. Ah, I can read what this says now. But it's a name. Rota! Whoa! The name made it light up.
It's the name of one of the Valkyries. That's quite curious.
So we've got Valkyries as something to come back to. I'm excited to see what they do with that.
Now put my lips to the horn.
There it is. I want to talk about serpents later too. Serpents and dragons.
Why is he doing that?
Odin had that statue made in honor of Thor. And seeing as the world serpent absolutely abhors the fat dauber, he was probably sick of looking at it.
But
Yeah.
doesn't that hurt?
Well, he and Thor have a bit of an unpleasant history between them. Or they will, anyway. So I guess waking up to see it was worse than the thought of lumps of solid stone passing through his gullet. You want me to ask him?
No. Our only concern is Jotunheim.
Okay.
Right,
I'm going to
wish me
pause this
luck.
right here. I got so much grief on the Gameology video for reacting to the size of Jörmungandr. And okay, in my defense, I realize that he encircles the whole world and he has to be big and all of that. But I always sort of have in my mind the visual depiction of the serpent, as is, seen on certain carvings that are often accompanied by runes. And on those, we actually see Thor fishing for the Midgard serpent and catching him. And so I always see him sort of relative to the size of Thor, though obviously he encircles the whole world. I mean, that makes sense. So it's just sort of stuck in my mind in that way. And the fact that Thor is able to fish for him using an ox head, by the way. So I always think about him sort of relative to Thor size, which is big, but maybe not this big, although of course this big makes way more sense in terms of how he is supposed to encircle the world. So in any case, I took so much grief for saying that in the Gameology video and I instantly regretted it. But oh well. I want to come back in a little bit to Thor and the Midgard serpent and their kind of rivalry. But I love the fact that they're dangling Mimir's head in front of him because Thor uses an ox head to fish for the Midgard serpent in both the prose Edda and then there's also the poetry, Hymir's poem.
Lads, he remembers me. Why you? Oh no, that's not right. Makuna huntunku. He knows the pain of your loss. He will help you. Curious.
What is it?
Oh, nothing to be concerned about.
What is he doing?
Making sure we're headed in the right direction. Listen closely now. We need two things to get us into the land of the giants. First, we need to learn the travel rune that opens realm travel to Jotunheim. Second, we need to carve that rune into the special gateway.
That one of the peak where we first met you?
Correct. Except the giants, in their infinite wisdom, saw to it that no ordinary chisel would do the job. Only the tip of a magical chisel opens that gate. Luckily, I know where it is, and it's not far.
You looked kind of mad for a moment there.
Now that, you thought I said you were friends of Odin. You'll forgive me. I've never spoken the ancient tongue sober.
Wait, look! The water's dropped even further. You can see more of the realm towers and statues. I even see new places to explore along the shore.
Where is this chisel?
Find me a boat, and we'll go from there.
I wish they would have written out in like actual Old Norse what he was saying, if that's what that was supposed to have been, which I assume it is, rather than sort of the sounds as he was making them out. But in any case, I liked that exchange. Power it up. I wonder, like, does he just get to push you around now on this platform? I imagine that's going to make getting, like, around quite a bit easier. If you have the Midgard serpent to do that for you. Yeah, and I may have mentioned this in previous lectures. While Mike's powering, I'll just sort of mention this. Dragon and serpent is really synonymous in how it was understood in Germanic tradition around the medieval period. And so the Midgard serpent is what, is often translated also to as a dragon. So serpent, dragon, those things are sort of used synonymously. And actually the understanding of a dragon is not like this flying, four-legged, breathing fire Romanesque dragon. It's actually more like just a giant serpent. So oftentimes if you see what's dragons being described in Norse literature, this is what they had in mind, was something a lot more like the Midgard serpent, less like, I don't know, Daenerys's dragons or something like that. So are these the Valkyries, or meant to be statues of the Valkyries? Why did you kill a bird, Michael?
So when we get to the boat, we can either look for that special chisel now, or go exploring for a little while. I'm happy with whatever you want to do.
Really confused why you killed the seagull. Was it a seagull? I don't know.
Which way to the chisel?
I love that the game
Keep rowing towards the statues of the oarsmen, then thread past between them.
Mimir makes, like, these journeying portions more interesting, I would say. You don't get much in the way of dialogue. I mean, Atreus talks a lot,
Mimir,
of course.
You never did tell me why Freya spit in your face.
Yeah.
Well, she blames me in large measure for her present circumstances, and not totally without reason. It all goes back to the long war between the Aesir and Vanir. Prior to that, wars for the Aesir were easily won, but the Vanir had proved their equal and exacted devastating damage. Both sides suffered tremendous losses, and for many of us, quite frankly, war was simply no fun anymore, but a rather senseless waste of precious life. Wouldn't you agree, brother? Precisely. Enough was enough. And at last, Odin's most brilliant advisor became determined to find a more enlightened path. He set about to broker a peace between the gods. Took some convincing, but ultimately Odin was persuaded to marry his deadliest enemy, a certain Vanir goddess, legendary not only for her fertile beauty, but her genius at the very Vanir magic that Odin had long aspired to master.
Freya married Odin? What was in it for her?
It was a sacrifice to protect her people, a selfless act of love. Truly, she deserves better than she got. But of course, there's more to that story.
If you haven't already, definitely check out my video on Freya and Frigg and the relationship of the two to one another in the sources, and kind of what scholars have had to say about whether or not they are named for the same goddess. So definitely check that one out if you haven't already. That was another thing I took a lot of grief for.
Do you think that Fafnir went to Alfheim too?
I do not know.
Aren't you curious? He sounds interesting.
We go to the storeroom to collect anything useful for our journey, not to learn more about the dwarf.
Fafnir was a rather interesting fellow, little brother. Perhaps I'll tell you a story one day.
Alright, I'll tell you more about Fafnir later. Yosta. Enlighten. Illuminate. Ah.
Poor Fafnir. There's a fine line between ambition and greed, you know.
Hey, Sindri. Have you met Mimir?
If you mean the severed head that keeps blinking at me, please,
Keep it away. There is no possible way that's hygienic.
Oh, that's nice. Lovely to see you too, Sindri. Knob.
Why? Is that a piece of my braided mistletoe arrow adorning your quiver strap? Oh, a little memento of your good pal Sindri? I'm so terribly touched.
I thought Frey had destroyed it all. Huh. Okay. Ugh. Yeah, I'll come back to Fafnir later. It's actually interesting that he's interpreted as a dwarf in this world. It's not entirely clear what his non-dragon form was in the mythology and legendary material related to the mythology. Well, this week in class, one of my students came in his like full reenactment gear. I'll show you a picture right here.
What's that up there?
So you can see me standing next to him. He is a reenactor who's been in all kinds of documentaries. His name's Jeffrey Barron. So kind of have, you know, things like chainmail and shields and helmets and swords and axes. Very much in my mind since he just came and did that on Halloween. And as you can probably saw, I'm holding an axe, not quite the same axe as Kratos has. Not quite that special, but pretty awesome nonetheless.
There's something up there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, more powering up. Again, you can probably skip through this part, Astrid. La la la. I feel like Mike just paused it here and like went to the bathroom or something. So obviously we're skipping this part. And we'll just pick it back up again whenever they start talking. Won't go too much longer. Guess we're powering up Atreus again. Just skip this stuff. Let's see if we can just skip ahead. Mike, this is taking. Yeah, what is he doing? Okay, here we go. Reaching in. Nice. Blood mead. Mead itself is a mixture of the blood of this wisest being named Kvasir and honey. I guess calling it blood mead might be a little redundant unless it's like extra blood, in which case it becomes like specially aged or something like that. But I totally get that this is, you know, for video game purposes. I'm just kidding. Why are you hitting birds, Mike? Like, what is going on here? Is this just for sport? Oh, they're Odin's ravens. Okay, all right.
Here.
Got it. I didn't see that part after the first one. I can understand that now.
Hey, it's another treasure map.
he like a knight? Like a late medieval continental knight. I wonder what the story there is supposed to be. Yeah, that's not the type of armor that you're just merging with him. Not the type of armor that you would have seen used in the Viking Age. But again, you know, we're in
Looks like the reavers
the
made
realm
it
of
inside. I hope they
mythology and
didn't take all the
fantasy,
treasure.
so we'll allow it. It's all good. Something that's important to think about too, and this is why I'm not like a stickler for like super accuracy, is because to think about what the purpose is. This is we talked about with my read back friend. You have to ask what the purpose. And you do have to sacrifice the city, but how much can you actually play is completely authentic anyway. So
Have you considered a tactical retreat?
sacrifice. Power up.
Just some stupid
There we go.
pots. And drop. No magical treasure, and no whetstone.
Keep your expectations low, boy, and you will never be disappointed.
Inspirational parenting, as always, from Kratos. And if they're going to connect the whetstone to Odin at all, there's a myth with Odin and a whetstone when he actually goes to acquire the meat of poetry. And that's a stave, it looks like, on the door there, or more post-medieval. Oftentimes those staves, and like Bjork has a tattoo of one. Of the they're actually from a much later period. They often get kind of lumped together with
They
runes.
caught you off guard.
I wasn't expecting them.
Exactly.
But they do look really cool. Yeah, that's definitely a stave. They're found in really modern Icelandic
Focus up.
manuscripts and really have nothing to do with things from the Viking Age, but you know, they kind of offer
Stay there, boys.
either place. We must be getting into the Odin area, right? We're talking Seda and whetstones. Alright, I realize I'm
Nothing
talking
but
more
poison in this one. And the stupid birds.
And
during.
useful resources. The main reason we are here, boy.
It's just kind of weird to do this without Mike.
Many of these chests have been emptied.
Probably by the reavers. I hope they didn't take Cinder's whetstone.
It's Sindri's whetstone, but again, curious what with any Odin affiliation. Okay. On to the next.
I have a good feeling about this next one. Maybe we'll even find the whetstone.
Remember what I told you about expectations, boy.
Keep them low. I remember. Still, good feeling.
I think I've commented before on the very, like, cool, almost like Thor and Loki caring. Kratos does something very Thor. Doesn't say a lot of force. Probably actually a lot more intelligent than Thor. And then you have him paired with Loki, who is this, you know, very intelligent, cunning individual. And they just make for this like hilarious pairing, and I think the fight did it on so much space, like in comics and things like that. You see kind of, I think, a take on it here as well with Atreus and Kratos, kind of
much for my good
representing
feeling.
those character types. racking up the silver. Okay. Put that down.
Stronger, on your left!
No. Yeah, they must stay like the original
I was ready for them this time.
level of
I
difficulty.
saw.
So I should keep my expectations low, but always expect an attack?
It is a delicate balance. Expect the worst, assume nothing, and always anticipate an attack.
Sure is a lot to remember.
See, this is just making me think more and more about that. Maybe a wolf here.
Behind you, brother!
I just finished reading the Saga of the Volsungs in my mythology class, and the Volsungs are like royal descendants, kind of a royal lineage, mythological lineage of Odin, and there's a part where father and son, who are just of this line,
Still no
transform into wolves for a little while.
and only one room left. I know I shouldn't hope, but people will find
There's
it.
a general kind of berserker, you know, changing into animal form thing that's associated with Odin and his followers.
Huh?
Why do some of the paths go away though, Mike?
Yeah!
And some of them stay. Yeah, so it's like a combination of staves and like actual letters from Futhark.
So, you back to piss on my corpse, you ungrateful little... who are you two?
We're looking for a whetstone. Have you seen it?
Aye, there was one in this room. My son sharpened his dagger on it, right before stabbing me in the back.
What?
Little bastard thought it was his turn to lead my crew. I was hard on him, sure. Guess I shouldn't be surprised. I did the same thing to my dad when I was his age.
He killed his own father?
Where is he now?
Ha! He may be a bastard, but he's my bastard. You'll get no help from me, fool.
Then his dagger will help.
Hey!
Consistent with
That's
Fafnir.
mine! Hey!
Come, boy. We are leaving.
So I'll just explain really quickly so I don't forget. Fafnir is one of three brothers, and Fafnir is the one who actually turns into dragon form and sits on this hoard of gold, and Sigurd the Dragon Slayer, or Sigurd the Fafnisbani, he kills him. He has a brother named Regan, who is a skilled smith, and then another brother named Otter, who transforms into otter form. And there's a whole thing that happens with Odin and Loki and another god Heinir, where they're kind of going about, and Loki sees an otter that's catching fish, and he throws a pebble at it and strikes him in such a way that he kills him. And then they bring this otter skin to this hall of this guy Hreithmar, and they're like what we found, and he said, "That's my son." So, and he and his brothers and the otter's brothers, Regan and Fafnir, are there as well. And so he says, "You've killed my son. You have to pay compensation for him. So you have to fill his skin with gold." And so Loki goes to this dwarf named Andvari, and he goes to get gold from him in order to give this compensation to this man for the death of his son. And he gives all this gold. It also includes a ring, Andvaranite, which is Andvari's ring, and is said to be cursed. And Andvari warns him that the gold is cursed, and whoever owns it is going to be cursed, and it's going to bring about a ton of death and destruction. So anyway, they bring the gold and cover the skin, and have to use the ring to cover up the final kind of whisker that's showing. I'm pretty sure I'm telling this correctly. I might be screwing up some details. I'm going completely on memory here. Anyway, so they use the ring that kind of features prominently in the rest of the saga of the Volsungs and the poetry on which it's based. The ring kind of covers the last piece. And as soon as they do that, like the curse starts to take effect, and the brothers who are surviving, Fafnir and Regan, they like immediately kill their father so that they can have the gold. And Fafnir actually, he's the one who, so they kill their father, and Fafnir takes the gold and he makes off with it. And he goes and he takes it and basically turns into serpent / dragon form. Again, those two things being kind of synonymous. Goes and he sits on the gold, and then Regan kind of plots how he's going to get the gold from him, and that's where Sigurd comes into the picture. Anyway, if you're interested in that story, the saga of the Volsungs, there are some great translations, including by my friend Jackson Crawford, that you can check out. But if that is meant to be Fafnir's father, that's a nice nod to that legend, in which Fafnir does kill his father, not for the purposes that we're seeing here. As for Fafnir being a dwarf, it's not entirely clear what those brothers are when they aren't shape-shifted into something else. Regan never shape-shifts into animal form. Otter obviously does into an otter, and Fafnir does into dragon form. But we don't really know what, are they human? Are they Jötnar? Are they dwarves? So there's some open for interpretation here, which, but just again, another way in which you can really see that like the creators of this game, the developers, have really gotten into the source material, and are really working with some nuances within it. So anyway, I just didn't want to wait until that had gone out of my mind to talk about that. So onward.
How are strong enough to do that? Look out!
Well done. Rhea's back there helping out. Why is that the first, like, ghost of a reaver? Is this supposed to be a reaver that we have encountered? I guess we're still looking for this. Okay, now all the paths are up. They seem to have been disappearing.
Why would his son betray him like that? Kill his own father? Over some treasure? Seems so greedy.
They absolutely did their
Remember
reading.
what I told you, boy. Assume nothing.
Well, sure. He didn't seem like a great father, but...
You only know half the story.
Yes.
Ready yourself!
Use the ice, Mike. You have to use the elemental effects from... You all know that I'm really into Zelda. And I used to like attack something that represents fire with something with ice. Maybe that's Yikes. Burn up. You're taking him out pretty quickly.
Ready to go now!
But simultaneously on fire. Nicely done.
Enemy down! How'd I do?
You are more focused.
I feel like that's really high praise for Kratos. treasure. Just grave robbing.
You, didn't happen to find that?
We found no whetstone. This dagger belongs to the reaver who took it.
They took most of the good stuff.
Oh? Well, here, take this. In exchange for the dagger. The dagger you...
Mike.
You brought me is quite interesting.
Okay.
An artless design, but the construction is sound. Where in the temple did you find this?
In a reaver's back.
Oh. Oh.
He mentioned he was part of a larger clan. Maybe they took the whetstone?
Quite possibly. I know I've seen this design before. I have a favor to ask. Just a small favor, really. Do you remember the dagger you gave me?
The dagger stabbed into the reaver's back? His own son killed him? Yeah, I haven't forgotten that one.
Well, I traced it to a group of reavers that operate out of the Northree stronghold. I'd wager that's where they took their haul from Fafnir's storeroom, along with that whetstone that I could use to help you.
So reluctant.
Ready and ready.
Another treasure hunt? Pointless.
Well, not if Sindri really can make us better equipment with that whetstone. Plus, the reaver's son.
Master Atreus.
He murdered
How
his
may I
father.
serve? Oh, what more do you need?
More upgrades.
Well, you gentlemen certainly know how to get around. Why don't you tell me how all this began with Boulder?
He just knocked on our door.
Boulder of Asgard just knocked on your door.
Yeah, he just showed up and started a fight. He said he wanted to know something. He said, I know what you are.
Oh, well, we'll circle back to that later. What exactly did he want to know?
I was under the floor by then.
He said I already knew what he wanted. Perhaps he mistook me for another.
That's quite interesting.
Whoa.
Hey. There's Brock.
You scare up that alchemist what needed finding?
Oh, almost forgot. Brock, this is our new friend Mimir.
We've met.
Oh, why didn't you say so?
He knows why. I know why. You know why.
Quiet. No more of this.
Know what? I'm sorry I brought it up. Can't you and Sindri just patch things up? Whatever happened couldn't be all that bad. You're family.
Now don't be lecturing me about family. I ain't the one what forgot what our name stood for. What we made, the weapons we made were legendary across 9 realms for more years than I can count. You just don't throw that away on account of one bad...
One bad what?
One bad nothing. Ain't you got somewhere to be? Be extra careful out there, you two. The roads are teeming with more than...
Come.
Coming.
Okay, now we go. All right, so we are on to the next thing then.
Another name. Air.
Another Valkyrie. It's no coincidence. But who'd have etched them on Tyr's braziers?
Is Atreus even with you? Oh, there he is. Okay. So did you leave him behind? Okay, so that was awesome, and I'm excited to see what we have going forward. There are so many like Odinic elements that I'm really curious to see how those are going to circle back. We have Sather, we have wolves, we have the whetstone, and yeah, there's all kinds of elements that all kind of tie back to Odin, and I'm wondering what they're going to do with that. Because again, like I said, these game developers seem to have a really good sense of the mythology and the related legends. I really liked seeing what they sort of did with the Fafnir story here. And yeah, I thought that was really, really cool. And like I said, I mean, here and there's some inconsistencies, but I'm no stickler for, historical accuracy, because I don't think there ever is such a thing. The sources themselves that we're basing these things on are, written 200 to 300 years after the stories were originally composed, and after 200 to 300 years of oral transmission. So we never know exactly if what we are reading is actually reflective of what the original story was, or whether it was a more contemporary interpretation, which probably it's a combination of the two things, a mixture of history, fiction, and folklore. So really excited to see how this goes forward as we go to find the whetstone, and hoping to learn some more about the Valkyries and see them featured a little bit more as well. So we'll see. And I'll hopefully be able to get to the next segment soon. But until then, thanks for following us and joining me on this journey as I go through this game. And as soon as we finish this one up, I really hope we'll be able to go on to God of War Ragnarok. Again, very much hoping to get myself some kind of a console that can play the game so that I can play it myself. I'll have to do some practicing first so I don't look like, completely ridiculous as I make my way through the game. But it seems like something that I should sort of experience firsthand and react to as I'm experiencing it and interacting with it. And that way I can kind of engage with things in a different way and, linger a little bit more on certain artifacts or runes or portals or whatever. So yeah, thanks so much. And we will be back hopefully really soon. Hopefully Mike and I can both join for the next one, but if not, I will be here reacting to his excellent game footage. So thank you so much to Mike for providing that. And as always, thank you to Astrid for your exceptional video editing skills. And thank you to all of you for supporting us, for watching this channel, for watching the videos. I have a lot of fun making them. I'm having a blast reacting to this game and getting to learn how it is engaging with the mythology and the related legends. So until next time, bye.